Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts. And so this is the second edition of Crypto Corner Sats, where I go over some of the crypto market on Saturdays. And so this is Saturday, May 3rd. And yeah, just wanted to kind of dive into an overview of my thesis and then go through the tickers. And so my thesis is really just kind of based around, this chart here, which is the weekly Ethereum chart. And that I think that we did hit a bottom. And very interesting, I think that that bottom was hit on April 7th when I happened to actually text a friend, you buying the dip or not looking? And, he was not buying, he was not looking. I think it's a great way to play it, because I think that people can get really emotional about these things. But on April 7th, that is when the crypto market did bottom. So, I think that, was a perfect text. I feel like I'm the best friend in the world there, but I did not push him or encourage him to be, getting more aggressive or anything. But that's, spot on right there. And so on that day, on April 7th, Ethereum hit what looks like I think will be the cycle low right around $1,400. And I do think that we could be heading up to 8,000 by the end of the year. And so that is really just based on the few lines that I have up here on the chart. And so one of those levels is actually right behind Ed where it originates. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit so you can see. So this is just above his head there. You can see that's 2018. We saw the highs there right around $1,400, that green line going across there. And then I have this other level here, this uptrend based on the pivot high from 2019 and then the pivot low from 2022. And those two green lines do intersect right around April 7th when I sent that text message and Ethereum was bottoming. And so we also do have this yellow uptrend here, which is actually based on prior lows. So that was the low of 2020 in March, I believe, corresponding with the start of the pandemic, as we all remember. And then also the pivot low from 2022. That's how I get that yellow uptrend. And we were testing it over here, but then we broke below it. And I was, really starting to question, how much lower is this going to go? That's when I found the intersection of these two lines. Of course, it was very easy to just go back to the pivot highs from 2018. But then to find this other trend line, that was a nice surprise, connecting that pivot high to the pivot low and them intersecting there. And really, that yellow line has just been a great dip buying opportunity in the past, as we can see here. And I'm actually just going to scroll this back down so we can see where I think this could be going. Actually, I need to keep it a little bit above Ed's head so we could talk about this point. But really, like I was saying, that yellow uptrend, great dip buying opportunity in the past. We broke below it. So that is either, we're going to just be tanking, or that is, just an excellent dip buying opportunity before the next rally higher. And that is what I feel like it's going to be. So this is the same screenshot I had up in last week's video. I'm not going to be updating it. And you can also look at the analysis from my ETHster video when I do go over the Ethereum chart in depth. But yeah, I think that this could be going up to, 8,000. And the reason for that, before I scroll back up, is, looking at this red line here, suggesting that would be a level to sell, red exit. And so that is based on the pivot highs back here, 2018, and then also the pivot highs from the beginning of 2021 before we pulled back. And then that was a nice predictor of the top at the end of 2021. And so now if we are looking at that by the end of the year, so 2026, beginning over here, if I scroll up again, you can see it right there, 2026. And so considering that, where does this line take us? It's around $8,000 by the end of the year. We could even be higher than that, but maybe we only make it up to 6,000. But the prior highs that we saw here were right around 4,000, over here around 4,800. So, I think that there is just a lot of upside potential with this, with Ethereum, and, kind of similar to like this text exchange that I have over here. But thinking about, the best time to buy is the time that it feels the worst. And so in the last cycle, I remember seeing this meme of Ethereum holders getting left behind on the gangway after the plane has taken off. And I started to see that again when we were looking like forming potential a bottom here, having broken below this uptrend. So people lose faith, they lose conviction, but then to look a little bit deeper to find some support there around 1,400, which we did test on April 7th. And so I mean, I just think that this, meme up here, made me think that, well, maybe actually now's a good time to buy when it's not exciting, when it's not sexy, and people are posting this, and Ethereum has not really rallied that much, but we could just have a lot of great potential in store for us, getting to, more than from 2,000 to 4,000, that's a 2x, 6,000, a 3x, 4x, 8,000 there. So yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited about that, but I did want to kind of just go over my thesis here real quick before getting into the charts. I will be beginning with Bitcoin, but yeah, I just wanted to go over these 9 points because they are, kind of the basis of my thesis, which, may not really be that exciting, but I think it's important to go over. And so number 1 is that Bitcoin and crypto will top May through December of 2025, corresponding with the 4-year cycle blow off top. So we have seen that in the past. This was 4 years ago, 2021, when we hit a high in May, as well as a new all-time high in November. And then I believe 2017 over here behind Ed is when we started to rally up here, hitting a top either the end of 2017 or beginning of 2018, I forget. But yeah, 4-year cycle. And I think that we could be seeing new all-time highs later in the year with Bitcoin and others. And then I just kind of started to think about, I've been trying to get better at savings, and I really like to play around with debt. And so I'll get into that in a second. But, my savings account, it's a high interest savings account, but my APY, or annual percentage yield, is less than 4%. And so, that's great, but I think I could be doing a lot better in crypto, especially thinking that, we have bottomed here and that we do have this 4-year cycle blow off top ahead of us. And so considering that 4% savings, one thing that I started to do really beginning a few years ago is that I take out some debt to get a 0 APR annual percentage rate, I believe is what that stands for. So that's the percent that I'm paying on that debt. And so I have, a credit card that has 0 APR until March of 2026. So basically what I've been doing with that is, I get into debt and then I move that debt into savings. So I have debt on the card and I have cash as a result of it. And then all of that debt is in savings to be collecting that 4% APY. Greater than that 100% is in savings for APY. Coming back to, all these points here. But, I think that I could be doing better with crypto since I believe that we've bottomed and that we will be having this blow off top. And so while I'm not taking what is in savings to cover the debt, the remainder of that savings, which my goal is to have 6 months of bills and expenses for 2026, to have kind of that security blanket, whatever, just to have that cash set aside. And so right now, that remainder is less than 6 months of bills and expenses in 2026. But, I am basically just taking that extra cash that I have once I've gone beyond that 100% of debt, and then moving that into, basically the thesis that I'm going over in these videos. And so, the remainder to be going over into crypto. for a greater than a 4% APY, doing the air quotes there, because, it's not an annual percentage yield. It's just, whatever percentage I can get swinging these cryptos. And so basically with my budget, I wish it was more, but, I can manage to do, while keeping on top of that debt and savings, I can manage to do about $500 per week DCA, which is dollar cost average. And and so to do that, it's definitely not exciting, like this exchange over here. That was the bottom, but nobody was paying attention. Everybody was in fear. Nobody wanted to be buying the dip. And actually, I think at that time, the stock market had pulled back about 20%, which is the definition of a bear market. So, everybody's saying, oh, we're in a bear market now, sell everything. There's actually a meme that I should add to this. I thought we were in a bear market, and then, things have actually started to rally. And so that was, a bottom. Whether we're still in a bear market or that was just a dip before we continue higher, it's good to be buying that fear, but also it's good to not have FOMO. So I don't want to be buying the tops in any of these cryptos, maybe Bitcoin, but other than that, not really. I want to actually be selling the tops, not buying them. So I no more FOMO or fear of missing out. I am in it. While this might be boring, I think that, is the name of the game. You don't want to be left behind because you don't want to be getting on board, after it's already taken off. I think that there will be another plane and that Ethereum holders will be getting on board. And then just generally the final point that I have on this is is that I have more confidence in Bitcoin than alts. And so that's really just like for a, let's say, a larger swing. No, I don't necessarily have more confidence in Bitcoin. But long term, in case I'm wrong, in case my plan does not go according to plan, the outcome is not what I have hoped, then I have more confidence in Bitcoin long term. So, I'm going to be most heavy in Bitcoin. And then after that, Ethereum, as I went over in this chart here, Solana, Doge, and then meme coins, altcoins, whatever, shit coins, if you want to call them that. But I think that those might have bigger swings. But, and also related to like having more confidence in Bitcoin, I don't think that those will be as long lived. There was some talk recently about Ethereum. Maybe it doesn't last 10 years. I think that was coming from Charles Hoskinson, the founder, I believe, the head of Cardano, which I will go over that token as well. But there's just a lot of bearish sentiment coming out about Ethereum. I think that's a dip buying opportunity. And you also see that there are ETFs of not only Bitcoin, but also Ethereum. I think that Ethereum is going to be a very important layer of this new traditional or decentralized finance era that we're moving into, the evolution of traditional finance. I think that Ethereum is going to play a very important role in that because it's tried and true, whereas Solana is still, a little bit new. But anyways, that is basically what I wanted to go over here with the thesis. And then I will be getting into the individual tickers. And then so just to go over real quick, the last one that I did was last Saturday, which was April 26th. These are the tokens that I will be going over, the tickers here. The coins, perhaps I should say, starting with Bitcoin and then, going down here. I did make some adjustments, though, based on my daily dollar cost averages over the past week. I did do $40 daily Bitcoin buys, and that is to have, $250 on a weekly basis, plus a little extra adding to Bitcoin. And so that is really just to, the $250, that is to, go into the bills. The a little bit extra, which is about $4 or $5, is to HODL for the long term. But ideally, what would happen is Ethereum would go up a lot higher. And then so I can just offload my Ethereum and then HODL all of the Bitcoin from these daily DCAs. And so with Ethereum, this is 3625 daily DCAs, and that is, let's see, right around $250 a week after, the discounts or whatever that I get from Robinhood. And I should note that these exchanges, all of them, links in the description if you do want to create an account, but no pressure there. You do you. And then I've also been doing, I was doing for a while over, 2024. It went up to maybe $10 daily DCAs, but on average about $5 daily DCAs. I've actually stopped doing that with Doge because it's been trading above my average. But when it dips below my average, which it actually did over last week, then I just do some, not daily DCAs, but just like limit buys at certain levels. So I think I did that down to around 17 cents. Picked up some more Doge, and then also I have been doing I guess you can see it actually in front of Ed, so I don't need to scroll down. Let's see, Solana, I've been doing $5 DCAs, not too exciting. And then these other ones I have not been dip buying, but I might be adding some of them towards the, at the end of the video, I'll kind of evaluate the percent P&L. Stuttered there a little bit, kind of odd. I'm down a lot on a lot of these, but some of them, like Bitcoin, like Doge, and some of these others, I'm not really down too much, or I'm actually positive on them, down a little bit here. But yeah, I'm just going to be going over this, looking at the market caps and the price closing on Friday to then populate the data for, this week that we just had. And so I'm just going to be going down this list here, but did want to make a couple notes. What we can see here is that Solana is in green because it moved up in the rankings. It was last week at 15 out of 18. And now it looks like number 8, just behind Litecoin. And then with that being said, all of these other tokens did move down. And what I might actually want to do, this would make more sense, is to make this yellow so I can just have it corresponding with what's on the right, because Ed does block it a little bit. And so, yeah, these all, moved down because Solana moved up. And let's see, other points to make. All these exchanges, links in the description. I did mention that the way that I store these tokens is with a Trezor hardware wallet. I actually have 2 of them. I have a Trezor Model 1, which doesn't hold some of these. So I just recently got a Trezor Safe 3. I'm not familiar with ledgers, but the Trezor has worked great for me, keeping my coins safe. But yeah, let's get into now the, my average. Oh yeah, I wanted to leave the average, but I'm going to be hiding. You can actually see the numbers up there if you look, but I'm going to be hiding my risk, how much money I'm putting on the table, and the number of tokens, of coins that I have, just because, I don't want the numbers that I have to like influence you, whether you think they're a lot or a little. I'm just going to be going over the percent P&L, which currently is negative 100%, because, I have the market cap here at 0. Which I will be updating. So let's do that now. Let's look over at the market cap of Bitcoin. And so here in coinmarketcap.com, looking at my watch list, we can see Bitcoin here, and the market cap is right over here. So I'm just going to see if I can copy that number. And I think I actually have to, let's see, how was I doing this last week? I think, if I copy it like that, oh no, I think I actually got to do it like this. So let's see, and I'm just going to paste that over to here, and then just hopefully this, yes, that's what I want, to remove those commas. Thank you. So the market cap divided by 1 million, it looks like it's 1.9 million, or that's, just shy of $2 trillion there. And now let's look over at the price of Bitcoin. So before I actually get into the price, before I get into the price, I'll just start with where I'm at here. This is the monthly chart for Bitcoin. Just going to make sure that I do have the linear y-axis there. And this is something that I noticed for the pre-market preps that I do during the week. Following the close of April, the start of May, I wanted to just kind of look at the monthly charts. And so these are the monthly candles here for Bitcoin. And I happened to notice that, the double top that we saw in 2021, looked like, coming back to the opens or the closes and opens of these candles here, the monthly candles, just kind of drawing a trend line from there, intersecting with the close that we saw for the month of March 2024. And then continuing that over, we did get some wicks down to that level, testing the low for April, which looks like it was around 74,400. No way. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to have to take a screenshot of that and zoom in. So this is a good omen, I believe. Oh, dang it. I opened that in Clipboard. I meant to not open that in Clipboard, and I meant to... Actually, yeah, I can open that. No, I wanted to just show you guys, actually. Nope. That is something that I should probably add to my thesis over here is, let's see. I'm just going to insert. Oh, maybe I can paste it. There we go. Yeah, that was the low for Bitcoin in April. Believe it or not, 420.69. Oh my God. Oh my God, the simulation is real. So that's pretty cool that Bitcoin, hit a low for the month of April of $74,420.69 based on the data from Coinbase. So, oh my gosh, that's pretty remarkable. And so I should probably actually adjust this Fibonacci extension just to get the coordinates right. So that third level, I should make that 420.69. So that is marked there. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm so excited about that. But thinking about that, we did pull back to this purple trend line. And so I should actually color that purple trend line green to suggest that, that's a dip buying level over here. We did just recently test it. And then this uptrend right here, I am actually going to recolor that yellow because it's kind of a caution zone. We did pull back here. And so I think that, was resistance there, but I don't think it's going to be long-term resistance. And that's really where we come back to these highs from. It actually looks like, the highs of December 2017 for the monthly candles there. Pivot points for those lines, which are probably drawn approximately. So maybe I should actually adjust them to be exact. 19,891.99. 19,891.99. So let's see, just the pivot high. 891.99. 891.99. So that's the pivot high there, and I'm actually just going to copy that number. And I should actually change that line to be red because I think that might be a take profit level. And then just over here, going to adjust that coordinate to be the same price over there. And let's see, where's the other? Yeah, that's, I'll leave them unlocked, but yeah, I've got those points in there. And so what I wanted to do is just, by the end of 2026, so you can see that it's actually behind me. So I'll just scroll that over. So by the end of 2026, still behind me. There we go. You can see it there. By the end of 2026, the intersection with that yellow line would be around a price of, let's see. I've got to just scroll this down a little bit so we can see that number. Let's see. The end of the year, that would be around 120,000 based on this linear chart, based on the monthly, and based on the intersections of those wicks over here. But if I switch this to the logarithmic scale, and I'm going to adjust this here, we can see that from those highs back in 2017 there, they do intersect with the tops over here from 2021. And by the end of the year, so 2026, that could be putting price, man, I'm going to have to drag this down a little bit so we can see. But maybe actually, here, I'll do this. And then I'll do it like that so it's not going so low. And then, yeah, I'll just drag this down so we can see the levels over here. And 2026, where does that intersect? Right around here. So, I mean, that could be going over $200,000. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like at current price, Bitcoin is, there's very clearly potential for a 2x based on looking at this on the log scale. But if we do look at this on the linear scale, I don't think that we are going to necessarily be going that high. So I feel like Bitcoin could be topping by the end of the year between 120,000 and 220,000 approximately. And then also did want to point out that this 100% Fibonacci extension here, being approximate, maybe I could adjust that to be exact. So the low over here for August of 2024 was 49.50.01. So let's adjust that there. So 50.01. So I will have that there. And then the high for January of 2024, 109. Yep, so that's when we did hit a little bit higher, 109.358.01. And I actually don't have to remember that because I can hover over it while I'm drawing this. 109. Oops. Let's see. 358.01. So let's just delete the numbers here. 358.01. Making sure that is correct. Yes, and with that being done, I'm going to lock that into place so that is solid. That 100% extension, which is basically just the distance from the bottom here to the top, taken from that low of 420.69 up to there. That's around 135,000. So yeah, I mean, I think that Bitcoin could definitely be going a lot higher, definitely getting a better return than that 4% on interest. So, I'm feeling good about that, just making sure that's regular. And then I will just adjust, the y-axis. And then I'm just going to switch this over to the daily. So we could look at the daily close for May 2nd, which was Friday. And so that close was at, let's see, I mean, it'd be nice to get the data on that. Let's see. No, I don't know how to get the exact number, but I can just eye it over here. So the high was, let's see, 97,94856. 97,48. Sorry, not the high. The close is what I want. That's 96,000. Let's see, 52498, 52498. Okay, and so now we can see that, I am up 26%, and relative to last week, I was up 25%, so gone up an additional percent. Even, as I've been adding, I've still gone up in percentage. So that is looking good. But now let's go over to the next one on the list, which is based on my risk. Ideally, I will have Ethereum taking the second place spot. But currently, Doge does hold that. I suspect next week, Ethereum will be the number 2. But yeah, let's look over at the Doge data here from Coin Market Cap. And so Dogecoin, we can see that here. And I am just going to, let's see, highlight that and right click to copy that number, 26 billion it looks like. And I will just paste that over to here so we can see that. And of course, yes, I want Excel to remove those commas. Anyways, we see this at, 26,000, which is, divided by 1 million. So that's 26 billion. 26.6 billion market cap, And let's see where that was last week. It's actually gone down in market cap, believe it or not. But I believe that price has actually gone up. So interesting. But let's look over now at the charts here in, let's see, TradingView, Doge. And I forget Doge. I believe I had this market cap. I don't want that Dogecoin. Coinbase, I don't think was enough data, so I don't really have much drawn on there. Yeah, because this yeah, okay, cool. Well, there are all those blue dots there is kind of odd, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't even go up to 74 cents, which was the high. So I'm actually going to look at this in TradingView, and so, or do I want to look at this? Okay, so TradingView, Bitcoin to US dollar. This is what I had drawn up, but maybe I just want to do it. Yeah, because like, what's the benefit of this? It just has all of this, you know, back here, the big move here. What's the benefit of looking at that versus this? You know, they're the same. So yeah, I'm just going to look at it based on the TradingView data, and we can, or maybe I want to reevaluate. Sorry, I'm a little indecisive here. But maybe I want to reevaluate. No, I mean, my thesis is actually just pretty simple with Doge, so I don't need to have all of those levels. I'm just going to look at it over here, and we can see, excuse me, a little bit of a neck crack there. Just kind of going back to the lows over here. Or maybe I don't want to do it like that. Let's see. Okay, so that should be a green line, potentially, you know, buying the dip there. And let's see, but maybe I adjust this to log scale. So, you know, maybe this could be coming a little bit lower. But yeah, let's see. Are there any notable pivot points from the past that could be suggesting something? I don't really know. We've got some breaks below that, so I don't know that that's that significant, but we did get, you know, a retest of that level here. Maybe actually, maybe I want to go back to here. What I probably want to do is not do a trend line. I want to do array. So I can get some very specific pivot points. I'm just going to connect this here, connect it there. Look at that, you know, rejection from there before pulling back. So, you know, maybe that's an upside target level. So I think it's good that it is a red line. And let's just see here. And does 2014, what does it go back to? Looking at Binance, 2014. Okay, so yeah, there's no real difference there. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure that these points are on point, to the point. And so the high there for that day was, let's just zoom in on that so we can see it nice and clear. The high was 00232. So almost. Okay, got that. And then now over here, got to make sure it's the right date. I was a little bit off here. And so that high was 1877. Just do that. And I'll lock that so it's not going to budge. And we can see that that could be taking us, you know, really back to these highs over here, the all-time high. I'm just going to get a horizontal ray. Actually, get it. I know I don't need it to be precise, but I'm just going to do it so we see it there. Zoom in. Get that. Okay, so the high over here, 73,905. 73,905. All right, and then I'm going to make that red because I think that would probably be a take profit level. Or actually, I don't know if it's a take profit level because I want to see this get up to $1. But, you know, good to be cautious. And so, yeah, that intersection is actually behind us. So I would think that level should actually be yellow. So I like that. Getting up to here by the end of 2026, that would be putting us, or sorry, the beginning of 2026, the end of 2025, that would be putting us at a price of around $1.20. So very cool to see that. And let's see. If I can do a Fibonacci extension, and I'm probably not going to do all of them in this great of depth. But yeah, I mean, that 100% extension does match up with, that. And so maybe I just want to make that be the end of the year. There's the 31st. And so, yeah, those levels are approximate. I'm not going to get too nitty gritty, but that 100% extension, so from the low here to the top here, and then taking that from the bottom here, brings us to around 129, 130. But this is also, on the log scale. So maybe I want to switch back over to the regular to see where that brings us. And so, based on the drawings that I did, we still have, that yellow level here at about 74 cents. But then that 100% extension ends up being around 56, 57 cents. Still, though, from current price, that is well above it. So, I think that is, a nice level. And, orange, I'll just leave it there. But yeah, what we want to do is, I've gone down this kind of rabbit hole of charting here, but, hopefully it's helpful for you. It's definitely helpful for me. And I am just going to see where we closed at yesterday on May 2nd. The closing price was 18,445. Oh, that was the high. So the closing price was 18,157. So 18,157. And then that puts me at, my P&L is aligned with, savings. Annual percentage yield is 4%. So that looks nice there. Now let's get into Ethereum, but I really don't have too much to add as far as the chart goes with this one. But we can see, looking over at CoinMarketCap, what the market cap is, and then copy that over to populate it here. Just replacing that 0, so we divide it by 1 million. And that is, it looks like $221.5 billion market cap. And so, yeah, that's another reason why I think it should be above Doge. It's just a little more tried and true, got more utility. There are ETFs on it, and, USDC, all of that. I just think that Ethereum has got a lot of great potential. But now let's look over at the price and the chart. And so let's look over at Ethereum. Looking at the Coinbase data, that is where I have those lines drawn. I'm just going to make sure that this is on the regular linear scale. And so what we can see, basically just kind of expanding upon, what I had drawn over there. That low for Ethereum was on the 7th. And actually, maybe I do want to just look over at Bitcoin real quick to see what the low was. Over here, that was on April 7th, hit a low of 74,000. Oh, this is the Bitstamp data. I think I wanted to be looking at Bitcoin on Coinbase. And so the low that we see for Coinbase was $74,420.69. That's so funny. And that was hit on April 7th, corresponding with my text exchange. So I am the best friend in the world. So very cool to see that. But yeah, let's get back to Ethereum. And just looking at this, I don't really have too much to add to it, because I just think that this could be hitting 8,000 by the end of this year, by the end of 2025. So if we just look over at the closing price from yesterday, May 2nd, that was at 184298. So 184298. And that puts me down a little bit, in my Ethereum position, down by 3% negative. Not a big deal. I just didn't have enough cash on the side to be aggressively buying the dip here. And I didn't realize, that this was a clear, in my view, bottoming signal until after the fact. And so I started accumulating more over here, and I did have some like legacy ETH that I had bought higher up, puts my average a little bit higher. But yeah, I mean, you can never time the bottoms. You can never buy the exact dip. Or the exact bottom. And so that is the reason for that is because, it takes time to look back and see, hey, that was a bottom. I think that this is going up. And now I'm really bullish. And so, it's fine. I didn't buy the exact bottom, or I did, I nibbled the exact bottom, but I didn't, start really accumulating more until over here just because of time and whatnot. But that's totally fine. So, yeah, down 3%. So, it is what it is. And now I will be going over to the next ticker. I'm just going to have a little sip of coffee so I don't forget before, this gets cold. And I will be putting timestamps so you guys will be able to flip through to see these tickers. But yeah, the next one on the list is iExec, which is ticker RLC. This is one that's way higher up on the list than I would have liked to have it. But the reason for that is because, I bought it on a big move. I FOMO'd in back in 2021. Tried to get my average down. It's currently around $3.19, but I'm not adding any more to this. It's too speculative. And I can't do like very casual dollar daily DCAs because it's through Coinbase, and with the fees, it just doesn't make sense to be getting my average down unless I'm doing like $100+ buys. And so I'm just not in a position to wanting to be doing that right now. But let's look over to see what the market cap is for iExec, which is going to be at the bottom here, which I apparently don't have it on my list here. So I will have to add it. And so I'm just going to come up here to search for iExec, and I will add that to the watch list. So I'll just come back over here. It should be at the very bottom. Yep. As you can see, and this market cap is 82 million, pretty small. And so I'm just going to copy that number and paste it over here. Oh, didn't copy it correctly. So let's see, copy that, paste that, there we go. So just 82 million, pretty small market cap. And then looking over at the price, let's check it out here in TradingView, RLC, and I'll look at it on the Coinbase data. I believe this is what I looked at last week. Yeah, I've got to clear up some of this crap. This Fibonacci retracement. Maybe I drew that last week. I'm not sure. But yeah. Maybe I want to look at this on the logarithmic scale. No, it doesn't really have enough data for that to really be that necessary. But anyways, if my average is around 319, I had, in all honesty, kind of bought back here May 2021, around 19, maybe, I don't know. So do I think it could be getting back up to that level? Sure, yeah. But this actually doesn't look so good, which is why I don't really want to be adding to it. Let's see. Yeah, this just looks really crappy. This is on the regular y-axis. Yeah, so it kind of just got rejected here from this downtrend. And so, we can just draw it like that. Got rejected. Draw it back over to here. being a little bit arbitrary, but yeah. So that we need to see a breakout from that. We're not seeing it yet. And, I mean, with this, I'd be happy if it got back to my average. But what I've learned in prior cycles, I remember during 2020, I think during the pandemic, I was holding some bags on ETH, and then it got back up to, break even. And I was like, oh, breath of fresh air, and I got out. Or I trimmed more aggressively than I should have. And what I should have done is, just waited. At least, so for RLC, I feel like I could wait, to around 476 or so. The highs over here, this was from, let's see, March of 2024. I believe following that pullback, I started to get my average down more aggressively. I could be doing that more so here. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's just really risky at this point. So I'll just make all those levels. This should probably just be red because I should GTFO at that point. If I can make money on this, that's great. But it does have potential to be going a lot higher, like the highs from November 2021, $6.60. And then, of course, those highs around 19. But then, maybe just come down to around, let's see, 10, getting into, the double digits there. Tons of levels to be trimming for this one or to be exiting for this one. But yeah, I mean, it really just doesn't look so good right now, unfortunately. But maybe we start to see a rally and this is going to be a winner in the end. I have no idea, but I'm not putting any more into it. That's kind of the risk with crypto. But yeah, I need to get the closing price. That's why I'm looking over here is the closing price from Friday, May 2nd. Man, this is getting rejected. So the closing price, 116.55. So 116.55. And I might actually just move that over so we can see those numbers. Excuse me. And yeah, I mean, I'm down 63%. Last week I was down 60%. So not looking so good. Yeah, I mean, I might lose some money on that. And that's totally fine. That is the name of the game. The risk is definitely there, especially when you're FOMOing. So let that be a lesson. Don't FOMO by the tops of, altcoins because, you can get a pretty massive bleed. And maybe this is going to go down to zero. I have no idea. But let's look over at the next. Actually, before I start that, I'm going to have another sip of coffee. And so now let's look over at the next one, which is going to be Ethereum Classic. This is one that I started to accumulate just because I felt like it was easier to move than Ethereum. But, I just have less conviction in it than Ethereum. So that is why I am not doing dollar DCAs with Ethereum Classic anymore. But I have accumulated a fair amount. And so we'll look over at the market cap and the price from Friday, the closing price, to get an idea of where I stand with that. So Ethereum Classic over here, it's number 37 market cap, whereas iExec that I just went over, RLC, is 384. So not even, same with Loopring, not even in the top 100. But Ethereum Classic 37 above Trump, so maybe that's a good thing. And so let's just actually copy this number. It's kind of hard to copy the numbers here. So yeah, it's like I don't want that. I want this. And so let's copy that number. 2.55 is what I should be putting in here. 255. There we go. So that market cap is 2.5 billion. So it's more than, millions. So looking good. Not as good as Doge though. Pretty crazy. And then let's just look over at the chart to see what's going on with Ethereum Classic. Looking at the data from Coinbase. And did I not? I guess I did draw this. Yeah, so the highs over here, 47. And so maybe that's, a yellow level to be paying attention to. Currently trading at around $16, $17 a coin. And so, yeah, I'm not really going to dive any deeper into this than that, just because this video is going to take too long. But what we can see is the closing price from May 2nd. So on Friday, the closing price was $17.22. So I can put that over here. And then we can see I'm down about 25% my position of Ethereum Classic. It would be nice to try and get that a little bit lower, because it does look like this one looks better than RLC for sure. What we can see maybe coming from, over here being a little bit arbitrary. Maybe adjust this a little bit. We can see that we have kind of broken out from that downtrend. And so this is actually looking pretty strong. The upside move here, followed by, this consolidation that looks like a bull flag. And so with that potentially being a bull flag, we can do a little Fibonacci extension here to see where that could be going. Just look at that 100%. It's around $21 a coin is that 100% move. Also corresponding with, let's see, the tops over here. So 21 bucks might be some resistance. Tops over here in that consolidation. So that kind of makes some sense. And if we do look, my average is 23. So I would still be in the red up there. And so what actually could be, nice, and I'm actually kind of compelled by this, to get my average down on this to be around 21. So when I do get into break even, and then I could trim. Because I think I'm a little bit overweight in Ethereum Classic, considering that, it's above others, like Solana, Ondo. So maybe a Link and a Litecoin, also. I feel like they're all kind of the same, similar to Ethereum Classic. And, so I think I'm just a little bit overweight, and that could try to get my average down. So that is something I might think about doing. And so currently trading around, so I might do a dip buy on that just to try and get my average down. Very interesting. So this is one that I do trade in Robinhood, so I could do, daily dollar DCAs. But I could also just do a one-time. Maybe I want to do a dollar DCA, daily dollar DCA, to try and get that average down below 21. And if it goes above 21, then that's fine. So yeah, I'll just make that yellow because I need to consider it. But that's intriguing to me, to get that average down and then to offload around, whatever break even is, just to trim so I'm not overweighting it. I think it's good to manage that. So those are kind of my thoughts on Ethereum Classic, which I'm pretty excited about. Seeing that, that Fibonacci extension, as well as the tops over here, confluence of levels. So very cool. I think that $1 a day, $14 over 2 weeks, $7 a week, I think it's totally reasonable for that. And now let's look over at the next one on the list, which is Ondo, ticker symbol OND. And, let's see, my average is currently 109. And let's look over at the market cap of Ondo, right over here, number 34 in the market cap list. Let's see if I can copy this number. 28 is what it should have at the start. And yep, there we go. So that is around, it's actually a larger market cap than Ethereum Classic. Very interesting. And let's see what the price is from Friday's close. Looking over at Ondo, and I want to be looking at the Coinbase Ondo Finance. This is actually looking like it's retesting the highs over here, so that's kind of neat. But I don't necessarily need to have that kind of drawing up there. Yeah, I mean, generally, I could see this getting up to around 213, the highs from, looks like December of 2024. And that would be maybe like a trim level. And I guess there's no history on this. Let's see, could I look at this over in Coinbase? or TradingView. Nope. No more. It is a newer coin, but let's see. Yeah, so I'll just look at it on the Coinbase chart. And so 213, 214, there's a top, and that's more than 2x from current price, which is below $1, so below my average. And we can see that the closing price for the second, so for Friday, was 92,217. So 92,217 over here. And it looks like I'm down 16% on my position. And we have pulled back a little bit since then. And yeah, I mean, but we do have this kind of downtrend here. Very neat. From the tops here, got kind of, a retest, move higher. And this is actually, maybe a nice example that we could look at with doing the 100% Fibonacci extension. So from the low over here up to the top, down to there, and then I'll just drag this over so we can see, nearly got to that 100% extension, which is around $1, but getting rejected here, tops right around there, 103, just above 1. Kind of makes sense that 1 would be acting as resistance, but then we can do another Fibonacci extension. So from the low here to the highs here, then to this pullback. Where might that be taking us? That could be bringing us to around 112. And so that would be above my average. So I'd feel good about that. But yeah, I mean, generally for these ones down here, I am a little bit lighter on them, but Ondo is one that I, have put more in. That's why SOL, as I've been dollar cost averaging over the past week, SOL is one that's still below Ondo. And next week, I believe it will still be below Ondo. So, it's going to take some time to get back above there. So I don't want to be aggressively adding to Ondo just yet. But yeah, just going to sip that coffee. But yeah, this, and with Ondo, I should note, with Ondo, because I have to get it through Uphold, I can't get it from Robinhood, which I could do like daily dollar DCAs on it. Uphold, I can't. And there's a 99-cent fee for purchasing crypto, whatever coin it is. You buy it, you get a 99-cent fee, which I feel is better than what you get on Coinbase, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the spreads are not as good. I'm not really sure. But, I have purchased my Ondo on Uphold. And so I'd want to wait to, basically do at least $100 buy, 99-cent fee. So that's a 1% fee. And yeah, so those are kind of my thoughts on Ondo. But yeah, let's move over to the next one, which is going to be Litecoin, ticker symbol LTC. Let's populate that market cap data over there. And so Litecoin, where is that? Number 21 on the list here. Let's just copy this market cap number here, 6.6, just put it in that 0. So we're dividing by 1 million. And yeah, $6.6 billion market cap. So that looks like it's number 4 in this list so far. Looks like number 1 is Bitcoin, and then Ethereum, then Doge, and then Litecoin. But let's look over at the price of Litecoin here in TradingView. Litecoin, and looking at the Coinbase data here. And for this one, got some levels here. I need to kind of recolor these. So I'm going to make this one yellow to suggest that maybe that's a trim level around 132. And then, these, I believe, nope, all-time highs, right about, it's kind of like a double top there. So that's kind of, remarkable. That is around 416. What was the high over here? That was 413. So let's just say 400, 411, somewhere around there. I had to make that red. I think that'd be like kind of a take profit level if it does get up that high. But there are tons of levels that could be acting as resistance, really just beginning with 132, 133, the tops over here, maybe 100. Currently trading below 100. I think 100 would definitely be acting as some resistance. Also got the top over here around 142, tops over here around 300, 200, another level that would probably be acting as some resistance. This here looked like, I think if I do that, we can see the RSI here. A lot of noise in that. I haven't really refined that. We can see, let's see, higher or a lower high here, but then a higher high in the RSI, that's bearish divergence, and then it did pull back. So good to note that. But even, if I adjust that, or maybe I actually just want to leave it there so we can see there is some bearish divergence there. But yeah, looking at the close-up on the chart here, have we broken out? It does look like we potentially have, kind of this a little downtrend here. So that's looking pretty good, but I think it could be looking better. And yeah, let's just see what the closing price was for Litecoin for Friday, May 2nd. That was $88. So I'm just going to type that in here. And so we can see I'm actually down 13% in my position with my average around $100.60. Nice to see that. I was adding to this because, to be honest, Litecoin has a really nice account on X. I like them. One of the reasons, why I started adding more to this position. But then it's just like, it's a little too speculative. I need to get, SOL above it, need to get XRP above it before I consider starting to add to that one again, without a plan like I have with Ethereum Classic. Yeah, I think that this definitely has, 2x potential to be getting 130 or near 2x potential to getting to 130 there, or maybe getting up to, 400, 200, 300, 400, lots of levels to the upside with this one. So a lot of great potential there. So yeah, I'm feeling good about Litecoin. But now let's look over at the next one on the list, which is Solana. This is one that I have been doing a daily DCA of $5 over the past week, building up my position a little bit more. As you can see, it did jump from spot 15 now to spot 8. So feeling really good about that. And, I do want this to be, in the number, basically I want this to, really it should be above iExec, but, it is what it is. I don't know that I'll be able to get it up that high. But yeah, let's look over at the data here from CoinMarketCap to populate that. And Solana, that's going to be higher up on the list. It's number 6 in market cap. We can see it's around $77 billion there. Hopefully I copied that number correctly. 77. Nope, did not copy that correctly. So highlight that, copy it. It changed again, so it might not. There we go. Cool. And yep, so 77 billion. This takes the number 3 position in the list, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Solana as far as market cap goes. And now let's look over at the price. And so SOL over here. This is market cap. I want this to be Coinbase over. I don't want futures. I want the US dollar. And so I'm going to make this line red here. That might be, a level to sell at. It does look like it was all-time highs. Around 293, about 300, currently trading around 150. So there's definitely, 2x potential with this. And this also does look like, I have to say, I really like this pattern here. Does look like we have, based on the lows over here, up to the highs, and then over to the lows that we hit on, it looks like April 30th. And we can see that 100% extension would put price around $200. So that's about, a 30% move to the upside, 33% move to the upside. So feeling good about that. And also, maybe this is interesting to look at from the highs over here. Got kind of this trend line that we broke out of. Got a fake out break above here, pulled back, traded back below. Now we're above it. Could be getting back to around $300. So feeling good about Solana. But, I also think that it's, I have less conviction in Solana than I do with Ethereum and, of course, than I do with Bitcoin. But here, looking at the May 2nd closing price, 148.09. So let's type that in here, 148.09. And where am I at? I'm at break even, basically. I'm a little bit red, but not really. So P&L 0, nothing too exciting there. But yeah, I'm just going to continue that $5 DCA. And I did not get paid this Friday. I get paid, so yesterday. I will get paid next Friday. And so maybe I would up this, be a little bit more aggressive with it starting next week. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at $5 DCA. That is fine. I'm cool to chill with it. And, I'm actually, for this exchange, I will have a sip of water rather than coffee. All right, so now let's dive into the next one, which is Stellar Lumens, or Stellar XLM. Market cap, let's look over at it. Let's populate it from coin market cap. XRM, I almost went to XRP, but Stellar here, XLM, is number 14 in coin market cap, and that's around 8 billion. Let's just copy that number and paste it over here. I screwed something up. Okay, yeah, I did not copy that correctly. Copy that number. Paste it. What's going on? Okay, there we go. Hopefully that worked. There we go. Feeling good about that. Copy and paste success. And now let's look over at the chart to see where XLM is. Looking at the, not the derivatives, I want the Stellar Lumens, US dollar, Coinbase. Okay, and it looks like, I've got this very nice downtrend there. I'm cool with the purple color, but I might want to change this one to red or yellow. That might want to take some profits there. And then we could, definitely be taking some profits over here. So I'm going to make that one red. And, oh, no, I should probably make that one orange, because that's not the all-time high, which we do see over here. That should be red. Okay, and so just looking at those, currently trading around 27 cents, could be going up to around 60 cents here, yellow line, or 80 cents, the orange line, or 90 cents, that red line. So a lot of upside potential with this one. And it does look like, we've got this very nice breakout from that approximate, downtrending line in purple there. And does look like maybe this is a bull flag, or maybe it's starting to break down. It looks kind of steep slope there. So I don't really like that too much. It's a little too sharp of a decline there than what I would like to see. But what we can see from over here, the low up to the high, and then the lows over there, we can see that 100% extension will be bringing price to around 36 cents, which is, higher than where we're currently at. That's around, 50% move to the upside, I believe. And I can actually just measure that. I don't have to do any mental math. I'm crazy. That's, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. That's a 33% move to the upside, not 50%. But what we can do is look at the closing price from May 2nd, Friday. That was 27.4678. So 27.4678. There we go. And I should probably add some decimals to that. Should I? I don't know. Do I care? I should probably add some decimals to it. So 78. So that's the number they typed in. And maybe I just want to do these to the numbers that I typed in. I should be respectful of those numbers there. So yeah, it's all a little bit wonky, stuff moving around, but I got to be precise. I don't have to be precise, but I'm going to be. And it looks like, with XLM, unfortunately, I'm down about 37%. My average is 44 with that 100%. That would not get me to my average, but maybe, that's one that, because, I feel that comfortable in my position size with XLM. So I don't really feel like I need to that aggressively get that average down or anything. So I could trim it break even just to lower the risk, which is what I, kind of want to do with Ethereum Classic. And maybe I will actually, at the end of this video, I'll kind of assess that. Maybe I want to make that more aggressive there. But with XLM, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be getting too heavy with it, so I'll probably just leave that. Yeah, because really, I want to be getting XRP up higher. I want to be getting Link up higher. Maybe Cardano, maybe Aave, and then let's see. Yeah, Litecoin is up there, so not worried about that one just yet. But yeah, I mean, I want to have some competition with the ones in this range. I don't really have that. These are all, more or less the same risk for them that I have. So, I kind of want to be adjusting that. But anyways, I'm going to have another sip of coffee. And then let's look over at Pepe, which is, super fun coin. I do have a position. I'm at 19, whatever that is, in change. Got this through Robinhood. Let's look at what the market cap is of Pepe. And so Pepe, it looks like it's number 28 for coin market cap. And then with that being said, let's attempt to, I don't want all those numbers. I want just this number. Let's see if I can copy that. Sometimes it's a little wonky. I haven't really figured out the best way to copy and paste. It starts with a 3, not an 8, so that should be good. Yeah, I mean, that's bigger than Ethereum Classic, pretty crazy. Bigger than Ondo, pretty crazy. I feel like Ondo has a lot of utility, so that makes me, I'm happy that Ondo is above Pepe, which is just, a dumb, fun meme coin on Solana. No, it's not on Solana. It's on Ethereum. Sorry about that. The one that's on Solana is Trump. And, but yeah, let's look over at the price of Pepe, see where that is. And I want this from Coinbase. Okay, over there. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, it does look like, broke out from this downtrend. This is a more recent meme coin. So I'll assume that's kind of the full history, but maybe it's not. It's not, but that is the all-time high. So I'll just continue with it in Coinbase. I'm fine with that. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe I should. I can easily replicate these two very basic lines. And then when I see it next week, I'll see, oh, well, it's not in Coinbase. It must be in Coinbase or TradingView chart. And so this is Pepe going back here. And yeah, I mean, this actually, maybe I want to do a trend line here. Just going from the lows. Hey, maybe there's something there. Maybe I like that. Maybe there's nothing there. But then, what did I draw on the chart? Downtrend over here. And maybe I want to make that purple. Just having some fun. I like purple. And actually, maybe over here. Is that something? I don't know. Hey, you can't see it. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. I like that. So, yeah, I think this is good. What were the other drawings that I had? I forget. I don't even care anymore. I'm just excited about that purple line that I just drew. It looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. And let's see. This, I think that's, suitable to have a red line there, fitting. I think maybe we could do a line over here. That would maybe be a yellow. And those are the only lines I'm going to draw. It's currently trading at, let's see. It's behind me. You can't see the number, but it's, let's see, how many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros and an 8. And it's getting to 4 zeros and a 1, 7. And then 4 zeros and a 2, 8. So this definitely has a lot of upside potential here. I'll just measure it. That's a 100% move to that yellow line. And then a, over 200% move to that red line. And if we do, let's see, do a Fibonacci extension from, I don't want to do it from here. Yeah, maybe I could do it from here just for some funsies. Hey, that kind of predicted that top there. That's kind of cool. And then from here, wherever this pulls back to, that could be suggesting that price would go to around 4 zeros and a 12. And so there's definitely some upside potential with that. I'm just going to leave those up there, I guess. Why not? And we'll just look at the closing price for May 2nd. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 86956. 86956. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 86956. 86956. And so, yeah, for this, I'm down 54%. My average is, 4 zeros and a 19, and this extension puts it at 4 zeros and a 1, 2. So, I could be getting my average down, but it's a meme coin. It's, stupid. It's fun. Let's leave it at that. It's not a, ooh, I need to be doing something super aggressive like what I'd like to be doing with Ethereum Classic. That is to adjust the weight. And so I think that's my thesis there with that, with Ethereum Classic. I'm seeing these dips. It's like, hey, chart's looking nice. I want to be adding, but no, maybe, after the next paycheck. But that's next Friday. So that's next Crypto Corner Sats. And now let's look over at the next one on the list, which is going to be having a sip of coffee. And so, the next one on the list is going to be Aave, ticker symbol AAVE. Let's look over at CoinMarketCap to populate the data there. Aave is, let's see, right here at 36 for CoinMarketCap, $2.6 billion. And let's just copy that number and paste it over here. And we can see that. And let's see the price of Aave. Let's check it out here in TradingView. Looking at the Coinbase data. Got that downtrend. And, yeah, so let's do a horizontal line up here. That would be like a red line at around 666.72. That's, I don't know. And then we have this green line here. I'm going to make that yellow, maybe take some risk off the table. And we do have, I really like this downtrend breakout. And we could do like what we've done with the other ones. Maybe this looks like a bull flag, so I feel kind of good about that. Just going from the low here to the high and then that pullback. Maybe that could be bringing price to around 220. Currently trading around 173. And if we do look at the closing price from May 2nd, that was 174.68. 174.68. Okay, 174.68. Type that in there. And actually, Pepe, I'll just leave it at that. That's too many zeros. So, so 175 basically. And it looks like I'm down 39%. Aave, this is one that, I have more conviction in than something like Pepe. But yeah, I just chill, gotta chill. Don't need to be getting too aggressive, but yeah, to 220, I'd still be in the red if it did get up to there. So yeah, need to kind of consider that. But then the next one on the list, this is one that, I feel like I should probably have more of, but I need to chill. And really, I just want to be getting XRP up higher on the list. So not going to be getting too aggressive with Cardano just yet. But maybe if we look at the chart, maybe something will stand out to me. Excuse me. So we'll have to consider it. And so, yeah, let's see. So Cardano, let's look over at the market cap. It's going to be closer to the top. We can see that it is, let's see, number 9, coin market cap, 25.6 billion. Let's just copy that number over, paste it here so we can see where that's at. And let's look now at the price Cardano ADA, Coinbase, and yeah, we got the let's get this one to be red. That would be suggesting, sell at around $3. That's more than a 3x from current price, probably like a 4x. And that's more than a 4x, I believe, or right around a 4x. This yellow line here at 132, just make that yellow. But really, I mean, thinking about this, that looks like, it's kind of ugly, but it looks like a little bit of a bull flag on the big time frame there. And then maybe this could be going higher. So maybe I'll just do a Fibonacci extension from like the lows that we saw over here up to those highs and then down to there. That would be suggesting like 160 is a price that this could be getting towards. And then we can also do, on this smaller time frame, a similar, and this actually looks like it's ripping green so far on the day. But yeah, it actually looks like, hey, it's breaking out of that little, parallel channel there. And so let's see from the lows here up to the highs and then down to that. Maybe we could be seeing a move to around 90 cents. And, really just look like that dashed line. If we do zoom in there, that looks like, hey, there's a trend line there. We've broken above it. But maybe we need to see a close above yesterday's high, May 2nd. The high was 72.55 cents. And the closing price from yesterday was 69.86 cents. So 69.86 cents. And it looks like I'm down 4% on Cardano. Maybe, this is one that I want to do like a small daily dip buy on. I don't know. Because this does look like it's breaking out. And, while it's here, yeah, so while it's below my average, 73 cents, maybe I want to do like, a little bit of, hey. And so I'll just put that there to consider while it's below my average. And while it looks like it's potentially breaking out. And maybe I want to do something a little bit more aggressive. I don't know. Let's think about that. I'm going to ponder that, and then we'll look at some data, my percent P&L at the end of this. Once this is populated, we can see it all in the charts. But yeah, let's look over at the next one, which is going to be Avalanche, ticker symbol AVAX. Let's check out the market cap over at CoinMarketCap here. Avalanche is number 13, 8.7 billion. Copy that number over to populate it here. And that did not copy for some reason. So let's just get that, copy that number, paste it here. There we go. And now let's look over at the price of Avalanche, AVAX. And let's look at the Coinbase data. We can see the green line here. I'm going to make that yellow. That would be like a trim level. And then going back to this, maybe that would be, an orange level here. And then over here, that would be red. So, taking profits back there at around like 146. And we can see this, looks good. Got the downtrending level over here that we have broken above, consolidated, maybe pull back a little bit more aggressively than I would like, but we can do a Fibonacci extension from those lows to the highs here, back to the lows that we hit on April 30th. And that would be suggesting a price of around $28, $29, also corresponding with this point over here. So that actually does make a lot of sense, 29. I find that to be pretty interesting. Yeah, so maybe I want to just do a little horizontal line there. That's, not right. Actually, I don't even really think I need that. But yeah, I mean, I just think that's interesting when you get like confluence of levels, that maybe there's some more to it. But yeah, let's just look at the closing price from May 2nd. So Friday, it was 21.26, just to populate that over here. And we can see it looks like I'm down about 12%. My average is around 24. And with this, we could be going above. Yeah, so maybe this is one that, but Avalanche, it's also one that, I would be storing on my Trezor, but I can't. I have to store it via MetaMask. And I actually had a hard time doing that. So I'm just storing it on Robinhood. So, maybe I don't need to be doing anything with that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to consider it. We'll have to consider it down a little bit. And then, once I get into break even, then it's also, that's actually kind of a nice thing, just storing it on Robinhood, because then I don't have to move it back and forth to my wallet. And in all honesty, it's really not that big of a position and I don't think that Robinhood would, Robinhood maybe, but the platform itself I don't think it would go under or anything. It's, too big to fail at this point, in my view. So I think that given the size of that position, maybe that is one that, I'd want to consider doing something there. So let's think about that. Let's ponder it. And yeah, so I think I'll have another sip of coffee and then we'll move on to the next one, which is Chainlink. And so that is ticker symbol LINK or Link. This is one that I'm actually more compelled to add to, because I think that Link, I believe also Aave and Ondo are like DeFi, and that they can be serving to tokenize assets, stocks, securities. And I think that that is a really interesting aspect to this. Link has been around much longer than Ondo, as Aave, I believe it's been around longer than Aave as well. And so I just kind of want to be moving Link higher up, but I do think that XRP should be above Link. I think that Cardano should probably be above Link, but maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm debating. Aave maybe not too far behind, and Ondo I think should be right around there. So I kind of want to move those up. But yeah, we'll have to think about that. But yeah, so looking at Chainlink here, let's look over at the market cap. It's going to be right here. So number 12 coin market cap, and that is around 9.5 billion. Let's just copy that number, paste it over here, and we can see that. And then the price. Let's check out Link. Looking at the Coinbase data, another one that looks like a bull flag. So this looks really good. Whereas, like RLC, looks kind of weak. So don't want to be adding to that. But Chainlink, yeah, let's take a step back. Maybe I want to make this a yellow line. I imagine that it's been higher, and it has. So maybe I want to make this a red line. That would be suggesting, a trim level over here in yellow around $30, and then a, take profits level around 50, with it currently trading around 14, 2x up to here, up to that yellow line. Great potential there. And then, getting up to here, that's around 260% or so upside potential. And then if we do zoom in on this, we can see that does look like a bull flag. It does look like it has broken out from this downtrend. So that looks really good. And if we do zoom in on this, we can see that we got, Fibonacci extension. That would be suggesting price could be getting to around $19 from that, which also kind of corresponds. Very interesting here. Let's do a horizontal ray based on the lows over here, a little bit higher. That would be around $20. So maybe actually I want to make that one yellow. Maybe I want to make this one orange. Maybe I'll just move it over there. So yeah, very interesting to see that. But let's look what the closing price was from May 2nd. So on Friday, 14.663. So 14.663. And I will just add a decimal to that one. Because, and I should probably also do that with Cardano here. And yeah, let's see. It looks like I'm 36% down, so not looking so great. Average less than 23. That extension, doesn't bring me up to that level. So yeah. So that's something to consider, I think. And yeah, that's Robinhood, so I could do some casual DCAing, whatever. Loopring, let's now consider that. That is ticker symbol LRC. And my average looks like it's around 19 cents. I believe I'm pretty negative on that, but let's first look over at the market cap. This is the second to last here, trading the 281 number in market cap. And maybe actually that's an interesting number to be considering that maybe I want to add over here. But yeah, maybe I think I don't want to keep this simple. Just something to note that, yeah. So let's just copy that number over. That's 136 million. So that's pretty small. Copy that over, divide that by million. It's just going to be, 136. Pretty small there. And yeah, so very speculative, very risky. And so the price on Loopring here, looking over at the data from Coinbase, got that downtrend there, did break out. So this is actually not looking too bad. Excuse me. And the high over here was around 33 cents. And then the high over here, wow, I need to adjust the colors. It looks like the all-time, oh, excuse me, I keep hiccuping now. What's going on? I need to slow down my breathing. Okay, so I don't want that to be yellow. I want that to be red. That's a take profit level around $4. And then over here, this high also probably, take profit level around 250. And then down here, got this. I'm going to make this also orange around 55 cents. And then this one there, yellow, around 33 cents. Currently trading at like 9-10 cents. So definitely has a lot of upside potential, but I just don't know that it's worth the risk from, there to up here, 230% just to that high that was hit in December of 2024. Yeah, I mean, that's above my average. My average is 19 cents, but we are, I'm notably lower than that. And so let's actually take a look at, let's see, before I do the closing price from Friday, I'm just going to do this Fibonacci retracement or extension, I should say. And that would be suggesting price could be going to around 13 cents below my average. That's unfortunate. But that's potentially the next move for Loopring. And so the closing price on Friday, May 2nd, was $10.58, so 10.58 cents. And so 10.58 cents. And I will just move that decimal over. So we're being fair to that coin. And yeah, I'll leave that as is. But yeah, it looks like I'm down 45%, so not looking so great. But that is one that I can't do a very casual daily dollar cost average daily DCA because I got it through Uphold. And so that has a 99-cent fee per trade. And yeah, so doing a dollar DCA, 99-cent fee, not worth it. Would want to do like at least $100 or something to be adding to that. But yeah, I'm not really planning on doing it. I just think it's a little too speculative, although the chart does look better than ones like RLC. If we get a little dyslexic, switch those numbers or those letters around, get the same coins. Kind of interesting there, having fun with numbers, having fun with letters too. But now the next one, the official Trump coin, this is what actually got me to start stacking some Solana, realizing I should get bullish on that. Really just having fun with this. Whether you like Trump or not, a lot of people like Trump. And so this is really me just being bullish on those people, on that community. I think that there's a lot of strength there. And so, yeah, I, might as well. Don't plan on adding to this, but, just trying to have some fun with it. But let's look over Trump. This is number 39 coin market cap, 2.5 billion. And let's just copy that number, paste it over here. And we can see that that's 2.5 billion. Let's look over at the price in, trading view, here. So Trump. And let's look at that on Coinbase. This looks like a bull flag, looks very nice. And this was just recently introduced. This would be like a caution level, I would say, around $44, somewhere around there. And we can see that this does look like, let's see if I give this little trend line here, did kind of break out. So that kind of looks good. And then we can see from a Fibonacci extension from the lows here, which is around $7, going up to the highs here, and then pulling back to those lows. That would be suggesting this could be going to around $21. And so, maybe that's a level to be paying attention to. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say on this because it's so new, but I do think it could be going back to, around the $40 range. And that is, almost a 4x from where we're currently at. If I do just get a measurement from where we're at, that represents 250% move to the upside. Yeah, looking, pretty exciting generally. If this does go higher, but if this goes lower, I mean, maybe, I say maybe this looks like a bull flag, but maybe this pullback consolidation, maybe it looks like a bear flag. I don't really know. But we are putting in higher lows. So maybe that's good there. But yeah, the closing price from May 2nd was $13.22. So I'll just type that in here, $13.22. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm down only 1% on this. I'm not doing any more daily DCAs with it, but I was via Robinhood. Very easy to, accumulate some of this. And, my average a little bit lower than what we're currently at. So, I feel fine about that. Just chilling. And then the next one on the list is going to be Uniswap, ticker symbol UNI. Let's look over at the market cap for Uniswap right here. Got that pink little unicorn. They're the 29th ranking for market cap, and that is going to be right here, this number. And so actually, I don't want to get the number or the dollar sign. I just want the number there. So 3.2 billion. And so just copy that here, and we can see that. Now looking over at TradingView, let's check over at Uniswap, and looking at the data from Coinbase. Generally, broken out from downtrend. This one doesn't look so strong, doesn't look as good as the others because it got this breakout, but then it's just like faded back. Maybe there's like a double bottom here. So maybe there's some hope with that, but also maybe not. I'm not really sure. Caution, yellow, I think that's fitting. Then up here, let's adjust that to be yellow. And then I believe this would be like the all-time highs. Let's make that red. Take profit level. So that's around $45. The highs over here, around $19, currently trading around $5. So, yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely a lot of potential with this. It's about 77% move to the upside. But, like I said, it is looking kind of weak, so maybe not so great. Definitely, speculative one, but I do think this has more utility. While it might seem like a meme coin, it is a, I believe, decentralized crypto exchange platform. It has utility, and, so I think there's that. So definitely more utility than Pepe, that's for sure, even though it has a smaller market cap. But we can see that the closing price on May 2nd, on Friday, was $5.24.8. Let's see, $5.24.8. And I will add that decimal there. Got a little gnat flying by. I'm not going to kill it because it'd make a clap noise, and I bet you guys wouldn't like that. But let's see here. It looks like I'm down 61%, so not looking so great, but it's not as bad as RLC. So, could be worse. And that one, not thinking about doing a dollar cost DCA on that. And so now let's just consider the last one on the list, which is XRP or Ripple, ticker symbol XRP. And let's look at the market cap of that one. This is going to be, I believe, the number 4. I thought it was going to be number 3. Which would probably be Tether, I imagine, is the number 3. But this, yeah, $129 billion market cap. Let's just copy that over to here. And let's see, you got that number in there. Good. And yeah, the price, let's check that out on TradingView. And so XRP, look at the Coinbase derivatives. Now I want to the US dollar. And so, yep, breakout from there. That is, I believe, the all-time high. And so I'm just going to do that as yellow. I think it could be going a lot higher. It's around $3.38. Currently trading around $2.21. And yeah, I mean, I could do a Fibonacci extension here. Might as well. I've been doing that with them. And so that would be like this. Maybe this could be going lower, but that would suggest a price of around $2.86, 87 cents, which is lower than that, prior all-time high. But what we can see here, just to, get back to the spreadsheet, is what was the closing price on Friday, May 2nd, $2.21. So just type that in here. And so we can see I am down about 6% on that position. But this is one that I, want to be dollar cost averaging back into, but I'm thinking, I actually want to do maybe $5 DCA on this. We will see. I just kind of need to consider, what's going on. And really, I don't want to do more than like $10 in addition to the standard Solana and, Doge. Maybe that is going to be pulling back to, around 17.4 cents. And so I want to have some cash on the side to DCA with that. But since I have populated all this data here, we can now look over at my P&L to see, where these are going. And let's see. And actually, one that I wanted to adjust is the Cardano one, which is blue with a white circle. And where is that on here? It's a little bit cluttered. I'm sorry. Eventually, over time, I think that they will spread out. So this would be the Cardano one. And I actually want to adjust the format of that because I want the dot to be white. I noticed that it's blue with white dots in the symbol, just trying to, be representative of them. And let's see, I want to make that blue over here. Oh, wait, no. I had that correct before. Yeah, white dots. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm wasting your time. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, we can see that, did some of these move much or not really? And so what we can see is a lot of them were kind of flat over the course of the week. We can see that Aave did come down there. I went from down 42% to down 54%. So maybe I want to buy the dip on that, but maybe not, and we can see that with Pepe, that's actually gone up from 53% down to 37% down. So that's nice, kind of the opposite of what happened with Aave. With this white one here, that looks like it's LRC. Loopring, that did go up, so that's looking good, was down 45% to now down 36%. So that is, looking good. But then some like bigger movers over here. Chainlink, this is one that I was down 34% last week, now down only 12%. So feeling better about that. And let's see what this white one is. That is XLM. Wow, I'm down 3% or 0% on that. Is that correct? XLM? No. I did adjust these and I didn't think, yes, well, I actually have to adjust where this is pulling from. That's why those moved up so much. So it's not correct. So dang it, what I need to do is then adjust this list. So select all, and I'm going to sort by the number coin over here for looking at the data in the chart. So I don't want to be sorting them by risk now. I want to be sorting them by number. And then I will be doing that smallest to largest. And then, yes. Okay, so that's good for me to note that I need to keep that in line. Or, yeah, no, I need to do that. So I'm just going to leave this here. And I need to, maybe that's something I need to adjust for next week. Not going to be doing it live. But yeah, I mean, I guess so. With that being adjusted, we can see that Ondo actually pulled back. I was down 9%, now down 6%. But I can't do a casual daily DCA with that. And I do have a larger position than these ones down here. So I need to kind of keep that in mind. And I'm not going to be, getting too aggressive with that. Let's see. I'm an idiot. Aave actually went up from 42% down to 39% down, but that's really not too crazy of a move. Let's see. Yeah, let's just look at the numbers here and we can kind of, because it's not going to be that big of a difference between these. Bitcoin went up 1%, Doge stayed flat. Ethereum went down or up from -6% to -3%. RLC went down more. Let's see. So yeah, what are the ones that I was considering, wanting to add to Ethereum Classic? So that's up here, stayed kind of flat. I think that's one that I want to be trying to get my average down on. So I feel good about that. Let's see, other ones that I'm, curious about adding to. Cardano, why Cardano? And not these other ones. Like XLM? No. Pepe? No. Aave? Excuse me. No, because these are, I want to keep them all about the same size. And this is really just to adjust the size of that position, to push it down. So maybe I want to do more aggressive than $1 DCA for Ethereum Classic. And then once I've kind of adjusted that to be where I think it should be on the list, then I can, consider that. And then now, let's see. Cardano did go down, so maybe I want to buy the dip on that. And so with Cardano here, maybe just do, casual $1 DCA, maybe. I don't know, but then with stuff like Cardano, though, it's like if I do $1 DCA and then I move it to storage, because the numbers that I pull from here, this is all, what I'm risking that's in storage, so not on the exchange, with the exception of Avalanche. And so maybe I don't want to be doing anything too crazy with Cardano. But this, that's easy to move. Ethereum Classic, so that's a factor. Cardano, I don't really think so. But that should move up on the list. So maybe I could just do like a, very casual DCA. Solana, I am doing the $5 DCA still, considering XRP. So if I do look over here, XRP did go from down 7% to down 6%. Maybe I want to be a little bit more aggressive with that, get that to be higher up on the list. And so I don't know. I think that, that seems pretty balanced with this. So $1 DCA for Ethereum Classic, $5 for XRP. And then next week I could move it over. That's enough for me to feel comfortable moving it over. And, maybe I just wouldn't move that to my wallet for next week. But I just do, dollar DCA, pick up $7 more of that. And then this puts me at, so I think that's kind of reasonable. And with Avalanche, that's really just to, when I get to break even, to then adjust it down to, the level that I want to have these positions at. So really just trying to get my average down with that. Same with Ethereum Classic. And so, Yeah, but maybe I could be more aggressive with Ethereum Classic because I wouldn't even buy one over the span of a week. So if I do, $2, maybe I want to make this $3 DCA, and then I would definitely be getting this down to, an additional Ethereum Classic, and then so I could, more aggressively dip buy. So maybe $3 there. Cardano. What am I? I'm down 4%. Maybe just a little bit. I think that's something that I can manage, but I'd have to be kind of careful. I do get paid next Friday though, so then I can, retroactively adjust stuff. So yeah, I think maybe $3 DCA for Ethereum Classic for the goal of, when this gets to my average, which in the chart, I suggested it could be going up to like 21. So if I get my average down to 21, then I could be, trimming to adjust the position size to be relative to the other ones. Got to be managing the portfolio. I think that's good. And, like RLC, I think that just looks weak. So I don't want to be doing that. And I have to be doing more aggressive buys with Coinbase. Ondo, that's a bigger position than these ones down below. So I don't think I want to be adjusting that. And, or, be getting too aggressive also because I have to do, bigger buys because of Uphold. The next one down here, Litecoin, that's bigger than these ones down here. So I don't really want to be getting into that. XLM, this is one that's kind of appealing. But I think I'll probably just chill. It did go down a little bit. Let's see. XLM is the one with the square. So down here, you can see that. Pepe. Yeah, no. Aave. That's one that's a little bit more intriguing. But I'm down like 40%. So once I get paid, I can be more aggressive with that. And yeah, I'm just like really kind of thinking Cardano. I should say, maybe it's like I don't want to do a daily DCA with this because I'm so close to my average, but maybe like daily, if it's below my average, then I'd buy one more dollar worth of Cardano. So I think that's reasonable. This very clearly, I'm going to be below my average for Ethereum Classic. Cardano, I could break above it next week, so I don't want to be increasing my average. With that, just chill, wait for a pullback. Avalanche, this is one that, I think for that move to the upside, yeah, I could then just adjust my position when I do get to break even. And then XRP. Yeah, so I feel really good about this plan. I think I can manage it. And so let's see, 3, 4, 5. It's an additional $10 over the course of the next week. That's an additional $70. I don't think that's too crazy. And then once I get paid, I can, more aggressively start to adjust these positions. So yeah, I feel good about that. Hopefully this ends up being more useful. I'll probably have to adjust it for next week. But, overall, that is, the thesis that I have. And yeah, I feel pretty excited about, let's see, this was the low for Bitcoin in the month of April. And so I feel pretty excited about that. And yeah, a thesis still holds. So I'm just going to be chilling, going to continue to do the daily DCAs and or the dip buys, depending on the token, depending on where the price is relative to my average. But, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, Crypto Corners on Saturdays. Take care, you guys. Have a great weekend. Cheers.